If cleaning up the still toxic site at Bhopal is a priority for the government, tackling the question of liability is an altogether different proposition. Existing laws in India are too weak to effectively take on big polluting corporations. The end result? In instances, polluting companies can still get away by paying a fine of as little as 25,000 rupees.
9:15 बजे से गैस निकलना चालू हुई थी, लेकिन मैंने जो है मालूम है जो वहाँ इंचार्ज था सेठी साहब, उनको इन्फॉर्म किया था कि आप जो है साहब ये इसमें के अंदर गैस निकल रही है और मैं प्लांट में नहीं जा सकता। उनको 9:15 बजे मैंने बोला था, 11 बजे हम लोग चले आए, बोले तुम अपना काम देखो। मैं ठीक है था।
For nearly 3 decades, survivors like Majboot Singh, a former plant worker who has lost his eyesight, have fought for justice. But when the verdict came, he, along with thousands living in these colonies that still stand next to the plant, was disappointed and enraged. So are those like Chauhan, who painstakingly gathered evidence against UCIL.
यूनियन कार्बाइड कॉरपोरेशन के बोर्ड मेंबर है, जिन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि किस तरीके के डिज़ाइन भोपाल में लगाना है, उसकी क्या कॉस्ट आएगी, क्या क्या इक्विपमेंट प्रोवाइड किए जाएंगे, ये सब चीज़ें। तो इसमें कई लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं जो डिसीजन मेकर उस समय के, नॉट ओनली एंडरसन तो 84 में चेयरमैन थे, पर इसका डिज़ाइन ट्रांसफ़र किया, परचेज किया यूसीआईएल ने। खरीदने वाले और बेचने वाले कई ऑफिशियल्स हैं जो इसमें जिम्मेदार हैं। उन 9 ऑफिशियल से हट के कई लोग हैं जो इसमें जिम्मेदार हैं।
Under pressure, the centre is now ready to review the Bhopal case to see how best it can remedy the situation. The GOM, it is believed, will push for Dow's liability. Despite the massive scale of this disaster, 25 years later, India still has no comprehensive law on chemical industry liability. So if another chemical disaster like this were to happen today, the company cannot be punished under the law. Neither can they be made to pay up for all the damages and the complete environmental cleanup. So far, few companies have faced criminal action after accidents. At best, they are pushed to pay compensation. But unlike countries like the United States, which makes companies pay heavily for corporate crimes, in India there is only one law, the Public Insurance Liability Act, passed in 1991, which is too weak to deal with major accidents involving hazardous substances like Bhopal. Under this act, victims get interim relief of 25,000 rupees for the dead and 12,500 rupees to the injured. Despite the long-term health and environmental impact of chemical accidents, there is no move on the part of the government to increase the compensation amount, even though the Supreme Court in its 1991 judgment on Bhopal said that liability cannot be capped. Instead of formulating a proper mechanism, the government has cleared an ambitious Petroleum, Chemicals and Petrochemical Investment Regions Policy, or PCPIR, which allows massive chemical hubs to be set up across the country. In response, a group of lawyers, retired judges and other professionals have demanded that a proper liability law be put in place that will make the polluter pay suitable compensation. Because without that, building massive chemical hubs can only be an invitation to disaster. In Bhopal with camera person Divakar, Mahua Chaudhary for NDTV.
Tuba.com